Hello students, welcome to All4C Learning Senior Intermediate English class. My dear young students, in the previous session I taught you the part of the first lesson, Dancing in the Rain, and in this session let us continue. Okay dear students, robbing children of their childhood is a criminal act. Whatever the reasons are, maybe poverty or starvation, societal aspiration, apathetic or indifferent or negligent individuals and organizations, and the burden of circumstances. By all means, the children are straight-jacketed. The children are prevented from growing freely. What an unfortunate situation is prevailing, dear students, try to understand. You see the children working in zari factories, and the other spectrum of society, children are overburdened from their childhood itself. Heap of books they carry when they go to schools. So because of which, what is happening, the children are losing their essence of life. Enjoyment in their childhood they are missing. Childhood does not come again. Whatever that is gone forever. Okay dear students, let's continue. Gandhiji said that the greatest lessons are learnt from children, not from learned men. Father of the nation, Gandhiji said, greatest lessons can be learnt from children, not from efficient people, not from wise men. How can things be learnt from children? There is a supporting line here. A child will fearlessly try before giving up. You observe any child in childhood. First a child crawls and tries to stand, falls down, again tries, finally stands and walks and runs without any fear. Whatever it may be, they do without fear. But you take the adults. As adults, fearing failure, we give up even before we try. A fear complex we have. Once fear enters our brain, obviously, we cannot move ahead. We cannot reach our destination and we get failure. That's it. A child is inherently curious about the world, about relationships, about wanting to understand how things work. Inherently means natural inborn qualities children have. They want to know about the world. They are very much inquisitive to know about the world, and they are very much willing to know about the relationship also. You can observe in our day-to-day life also the attitude of the children and the attitude of the grown-up people. You can find a lot of difference. And they are very much inclined to understand how things happen around them. They are very much interested to know They are very much interested to understand how things happen. Children. But as adults, our blinkered and conditioned self prevents us from truly exploring without prejudice. Blinkered thoughts. We are always directed with one thought, or of course, maybe directed by somebody. And conditioned thoughts we have. When there is a condition, if the condition is not fulfilled, naturally the person is prevented from doing that particular work. And one more thing, we have prejudice. We have some sort of bad feeling. First we feel bad, then we may change our thought. We cannot say that all people are like that, but general tendency is like that. We have some sort of prejudice, whereas children do not have. That is the difference between children and elderly people. Okay, dear students, for a child, what she does is meaningful in its own right. For a child, what he or she does is meaningful in his or own right. I do this, a child feels. Don't expect anything. Without any expectation, they do. Whereas, adults, if you take, as an adult, we usually link every action to an external reward of money or recognition. What benefit do I get if I do the work? An adult thinks like that. Expectation may be in the form of pecuniary benefit or monetary benefit or money or any award or any reward, whatever it may be. Without that, an adult does not take any initiation. Generally, exceptions may be there. When there is expectation, when the expectation is not fulfilled, work will not be done. Whereas children do not have that tendency. Dear students, try to understand. I did not learn how to be a father from manuals. Author says, how to be a father? Can one learn from manuals? A father should be like this. Here he says, whatever little I learnt about being a parent, I learnt by observing my children and letting them teach me. Whatever little I learnt from my children only. I gave them full freedom. The children should be entitled to suggest their parents. They have that efficiency that is to be acknowledged or recognized by the parents. As a father, I am doing everything for you. That is my responsibility. If the father feels like that, that is not sufficient. He should think about his child's feelings. Sometimes he can take suggestions from his son or daughter because they have their own ideas. Sometimes their ideas are better than our ideas. Such a great man is telling. He learnt many things from his children. Every parent, every father and mother should feel like that. Similarly, I think our teachers could grow enormously by learning from their students. Teaching should not be from one side. There should be an interactive mode and communicative way. The teacher goes on, the students go on listening. The teacher goes on teaching. Time is over, teacher goes out. Students may not be able to understand anything. Students have many thoughts in their brain that should be properly evaluated, and they should be given a choice to express their views or to express their ideas. Sometimes they have wonderful ideas, and the ideas may be better than our ideas also. We should learn from the students also. It is not a mistake. Knowledge is ocean. We can learn the subject from different angles. We should not feel inferior. Dear students, we will then refrain from pushing our knowledge down their young minds and begin the democratic process of being joint learners as we discover and understand our world. If we maintain this strategy, we can prevent ourselves from burdening the young minds. We go on teaching, we go on giving work, whether the students are able to do that work or not. Okay, dear students, and begin the democratic process of joint learners. That system, if prevails, that will be well and good to both the teachers and the students. In the present day education system, is it possible? That's a big question. Okay, dear students, you see here, and we can discover the world and understand our world. We can find many things that happen in the world. We can enrich our knowledge to the apex level, to the maximum level. Both teachers and students can become extraordinary. And dear students, here you see, I believe a powerful force for empowerment is to have motivated teachers who are learners first, teachers second. Powerful force for empowerment means making powerful. First of all, we should have motivated teachers. We should have motivated teachers. First of all, teachers should be properly motivated. They need motivation. They should learn a lot first. The teacher should not be in the impression that whatever I teach, that is correct. He has to enhance his efficiency. There is no limit to learn. And the students knowingly or unknowingly believe the teacher. If the teacher is not up to the expectations of the students, a teacher is deserved to be blameworthy. Understand, my dear students? Only then will we stop trying to mold children into our adult likeness. If we follow this strategy, then only we can be able to mold children in a good way, not in adult likeness. According to parents' will and wish, the children should not be. Okay, dear students, only then will we let them blossom. Then only we can make them shine, grow, blossom. We can make them prosperous. We can make them successful. Okay, dear students. And you see here, if India has to develop economically, socially, intellectually and culturally, country's development means what? Not the buildings, not the infrastructure. Development means economic development, financial growth. Economy should be developed. Society should be developed. Intellectual development should be there. Knowledge should be enhanced. Knowledge should be enhanced. And there should be cultural development also, because in the world today Indian culture is highly revered, highly honored and respected. And my dear students, you see, we must empower those most vulnerable to social diktat, our children. We must empower our children. We must make our children powerful from vulnerable, from weakness to strong, and we should make them powerful from weakness to face the society diktat, means harshness. They have to face many things in future. Children should grow well. Okay, dear students, let us resolve to give our children the freedom of childhood. So right from beginning of life, if the children are tormented like anything, if the children are forced or compelled, they do not know what is what. They know only books. They know only studies. Other than studies, they do not know anything. They do not know freedom. They do not know relationship. They do not have any acquaintances with anybody. They do not know the value of friendship. First of all, let us resolve. First of all, let us decide to give our children complete freedom. Let them enjoy their childhood, because once it comes. Let us change our schools from being textbook prisons to laboratories of exploration. So just let us change our schools from textbook prisons. Just what do the people do in the prison? They follow the instructions, that's it. Here also the students are forced to sit in the classroom. A teacher teaches and the students have to learn whatever the teacher teaches. There will be a lot of control over the students. They should have practical knowledge. If you tell somebody how to swim, you move your hands and legs in the water, then you can come to know swimming, you can learn how to swim. Can any person learn that? No. That person is thrown into water, then automatically the person will have practical experience and learns the things. Here, there should be practical experience in the schools and colleges also. If you take, for example, in volumetric analysis, when the students perform in chemistry lab, how volumetric analysis they perform, you know very well. Brown ring, how does it come? So they do the experiment and they can come to know. Such a type of education is needed according to the author. Okay, dear students, and let us change homes from being tuition centers to playgrounds of art and sport. Let us change our homes from tuition centers. A child stays in the school from morning to evening and comes home. Again, home becomes a tuition center. For 2 or 3 hours, again the child will be busy with tuition classes. You ask them to go and play. They should be changed to playgrounds. They should have fitness. They should be able to run 5 kilometers at a stretch. They should be able to play games and sports. They should be able to participate in cultural activities. They should learn music, which gives them solace, comfort when they are in some sort of disappointing mood. They can learn music. Extracurricular activities students should have. Then only there will be overall development. Dear students, remember. So, my dear students, you know very well, country means people. People means today's children become tomorrow's citizens. Development does not mean buildings and infrastructure. Development means economic development, cultural development, intellectual development, societal development, etc., etc., etc. My dear students, try to understand. India will be radiant when our children are free to dance in the rain. India will be radiant when our children are free to dance in the rain. They should be given, India will become prosperous, glorious, only when the children are given they are permitted to dance in the rain. They are permitted to dance in the rain means they should be given freedom. When a person is given, I don't mean that if the freedom is given, I don't mean that the children are not controlled. Give freedom, observe them. And that observation should not be over observation. Punishment should not be over punishment. Consciousness should not be over consciousness. You free them. Let them play. Let them enjoy. And let them read whatever they like. According to their interest, we should move. Okay, dear students, this you are experiencing in your day-to-day life also. Dear students, you also love your siblings, encourage them, and we sincerely request your parents also to encourage you. Okay, my dear students, from this lesson, you know very well annotations and answers are there. in the examination an annotation and a paragraph question may be asked. How to write an annotation you know very well, because you might have learnt that in first year. Remember one thing, my dear students, develop the habit of reading. If you go on reading, you can improve the reading skill, number 1. Number 2, content you can learn. Number 3, vocabulary you can improve, which will be useful to you in future. Okay, dear students, I think you have understood the concept of the lesson very well, and I hope that you will read the lesson when you get the books. Okay, dear students, and I am very much thankful to you for watching this video. Thank you, dear students. Thank you very much.